see you again. Time is 6:11. Today's date is August the 7th, 2017. I call this special board meeting to order. Item number 2, establishment of a quorum. Let the record reflect we have a full board with the exception of Dr. Rivera and Patrick Kennedy. Item number 3, approval to amend memorandum of understanding between Hidalgo County Juvenile Board and Weslaco Independent School District for expulsion services. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, we're looking to amend the memorandum of understanding with Hidalgo County Juvenile Board and our school district for discretionary expulsionary services. And to lead us through that one is Mr. Sergio Garcia. What this means is we will, if this is approved, be sending students who commit an offense that is determined that they will discretionarily be placed at an alternative center. Our students will join students from other districts at the Hidalgo County Juvenile Center, or JJAEP, which means they will travel to McAllen. We have transportation plan that's in the works with a route to take them there and receive their education in that setting. That's different from what we currently have had the last couple of years. We've been using, is it Pike DAEP? And staff has been taking a look at this possibility and the benefits to children. So, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. Canales. Good evening, Mr. Lopez, members of the board. Again, as Dr. Canales said, we are bringing this agenda item to amend the memorandum of understanding between Hidalgo County Juvenile Board and the Weslaco Independent School District. As Dr. Canales mentioned, we do have, well, she didn't mention, but we do have our mandatory expulsions that already go to JJAEP with Hidalgo County. So we are asking to amend that to include their discretionary placement of students. Now, I don't know the history of how long we've been. I know that I don't remember, since I've only been on this job for 2 years, I'm not sure what we've done in the past. My understanding, we've been with a Student Alternatives Program for a long time. However, we have had concerns in the last couple of years since I came on board. Ms. Peterson and I have been really, going in there and trying to make sure that our students are receiving the best education possible, even if it's an alternative setting. So with that in mind, we wanted to bring this to you to see if you could go ahead and approve the amendment. Now, what I did, just because we were going to bring this to you, I thought that it was important to bring this information to you. That is just information that's pertinent to the alternative setting. So if you look at the first little chart, and I try to put all this in a very concise form so that I wouldn't give you a lot of papers. But if you look at the first little chart there, basically these are students that would be returning for enrollment in an alternative setting. For this coming school year, WHS has 5 students that are returning from last year. They didn't complete their time, so they are coming back for this coming year. We have 5 students from 9th grade at WHS. WEHS has 8 students from 9th grade, 3 from 10th grade, for a total of 11. And then we also have 6 students from the middle schools that would also be attending the alternative program over there, should you approve this. Just so that you can see what type of information we get from the alternative campus, we always request on a weekly basis we get a report on how are the students attending, making sure if we need to intervene to make sure that the students are attending. We do provide transportation, or we did provide transportation a couple of years ago. Their concern was that we didn't provide transportation, and that's why the children were not showing up. So we made an effort to get transportation for the children, and we still are not getting the students. The numbers the percentage of attendance might look a little high. There's always, we want to make sure that all of our students are attending school. Again, even if they have made some mistakes, they still deserve to have a good education. So that's one of the other things that we're going to be working on, the attendance at the alternative campuses. Just wanted to give you a little expulsion history. We went back through the records and found the history of number of students that we have expelled to discretionary DAEP at Pike, and as well the mandatory expulsions to JJAP. If you notice, our numbers have decreased dramatically from year to year, and that's because principals as well, and working with a central office administration, we want to make sure that students are staying in school and staying in class instead of being sent out to the alternative campuses. And I want to give a shout out to the principals who are really trying to work more with these students and using more restorative discipline approaches at the campuses to keep these students. Just also information that's pertinent, if you look down at the very last chart, school districts that are served by Hidalgo County for the discretionary expulsions, you can see that Mercedes, Monte Alto, McAllen, FAR, Edinburgh, Hidalgo, Mission, Donna, Eca, Chelsea, La Joya, and Hidalgo send their students to them. And finally, in the back, I just wanted to show you how much we spent last year for services over at Student Alternatives Program here on Pike. We spent $248,000 last year. For this year, we have set a budget of $200,000 with Hidalgo County JJAP. And we are hoping that it will be less than that. But we did set a budget of $200,000. Not sure if you have any questions.
So our students were going to Weslaco, now they're going to go where?
To McAllen.
Okay. Now, the facility here in Weslaco, it has, from my understanding, correct me if I am wrong, has kids from other towns also?
They do. They have, from my understanding, Mr. Lopez, they have Mercedes, they have Progreso. Now, I don't know if they're still if they still have an agreement with them, but as of last year, they still had Mercedes, Progreso, Donna, I believe, and La Via.
Okay, and so it wasn't a facility just for Weslaco kids?
No.
Okay, so, and then we're just going to send them to a different facility due to the fact that we are having issues or concerns?
Concerns, Mr. Lopez, with, of course, curriculum and instruction.
Okay.
Secondly, one of the other things, a big concern to us is that they only have one certified educator there, okay?
And administration is recommending?
That we go ahead, like the other districts, and send them to the Hidalgo County JJAP that's run by Southwest KWES Program.
Correct.
For the services. This is discretionary only. Mandatory already goes there.
Okay.
So I commit a second or third offense, and the campus administration and working with central office staff, because central office staff, somebody on cabinet will be involved in this decision as well. They go for a couple of days. They have to board the bus. We're hoping, too, that it may serve as a deterrent. You're going to have to travel on the bus for 15, 20 minutes to get there and come back. It may for some, it may not for others. But it's a recommendation of administration that they'll get a more comprehensive service with certified teachers at the Hidalgo County JJAP.
I think before the one on Pike, I think we used to send them over there when I was assistant principal. We used to send them to McAllen.
Okay.
I don't think we provided a bus, but we had the mandatory for sure. And then the discretionary, maybe back then we had the discretionary here on campus or with Mr. J.J. Garcia back then. I don't remember on those. But I remember we used to send the majority of them to McAllen at that time.
Correct.
Before they opened this one here.
Do we have a motion?
Let me, real quick, let me ask you, Mr. Sanchez, on the budget, since we're getting ready to approve budgets, and would this affect or change any of the numbers for transportation? I know they were being cut by 600,000.
Okay, question.
Oh, that's right.
We'll calculate the master. No, we'll work with it. We'll make adjustments for that.
Good question.
Any other
Now,
questions?
if there are 10 over there, how does our ADA work with, do we get part of the ADA? I don't remember offhand. When they attend a JJAP or JJAP.
The mandatory expulsions, of course, the ADA does not apply to us. But I think and I'm not for certain, Mr. Nieto, I will check that out. I'm going to say that it doesn't. I would have to check.
Because if they're going over there and we're paying this amount, but I don't know about the ADA, who receives the ADA for
Yeah,
those
we need to
students?
double check that because we do pay, is it $86 per day?
Yes.
Per student?
It'll be $86
So they're getting
per
funding
student
from
per
the school
attendance.
districts.
Right.
And then, we have reserved 60 slots per semester. And if we go above those 60 slots, then we will have to pay $95. However, if you look at the numbers that we provided for you, we had 51 students. So and again, year after year, our campuses are starting to realize that it's more about working with the students and not just, being quick to send them out. Of course, there's some that we have to.
Sure.
But for the most part, we try to hold on to them and work more with them. So,
Okay.
Back to the question Dr. Rodriguez asked on the money. Last year, you said you spent 248,000, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have 200 already set aside, is that correct?
Correct.
So the money's already there, Doc.
Correct.
Just find out on the ADA as to, are we losing it and paying, or do we get the ADA and then pay for it? Do you know, Andres?
And I think we're getting 80 here for the one that goes there.
God bless you.
Then it would be, yeah,
Well,
it's discretionary.
find out.
And the thing is, Mr. Garcia pointed this out about the expulsion history for discretionary. It stayed the same as last year. The mandatory has gone down. Mandatory, of course, the state covers the payment for that. Discretionary, we have to pay.
Right.
But I know the campus principals, in talking about discipline, have had discussions about how can we create different types of options for kids that commit an offense a second or third time. Discretionary, is there a way that we can keep them on our campus? We've had conversations about, the Campus Alternative Education Program, and a couple of principals say, we'd like to try to maybe do that one year. So there's things that we want to examine to try to keep the kids with us. We're accountable for them.
Right.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Okay, so we've done this before in the past. Use this facility.
Yes.
Now, the one here in Weslaco, is that with the county?
No, it's independent.
It's independent, and this one is with the county?
Correct. So I move that we go with the administration's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion by Isidoro and a second by Andrew to proceed with the recommendation of administration to approve the memorandum of understanding between Hidalgo County Juvenile Board and Weslaco Independent School District for expulsion services. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item number 4, closed meeting to discuss A, personnel matters, Texas Government Code 551.074. Item 1, employment of personnel. Item 2, resignations. Item 3, deliberation regarding the appointment, employment, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, Texas Government Code 551.074 and 551.071. Subpart A is superintendent's recommendation for the position of assistant superintendent, elementary education and leadership. Then we have item B, consultation regarding pending litigation. Do I read that, Ivan? Stephen Ray Brooks versus Priscilla Canales and Weslaco ISD, C-3434-17-H in the 389th Judicial District in Hidalgo County, Texas. The time is now 6:25, and this board is going into closed session. Time is 7:14, and we're back in open session. I'll give Rosemary a second to change tapes. Okay, now we need to discuss possible action on items discussed in closed session. Item A, Personnel Matters, Texas Government Code 551.074. Number 1, Employment of Personnel. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees recommend that you approve the employment of personnel as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Andrew and a second by Isidoro to approve the employment of personnel as presented by administration. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Number 2, resignations. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, I recommend that you accept the resignations and approve them as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Andrew and a second by Dr. Rodriguez to approve the resignations as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Number 3, item 3 is deliberation regarding the appointment, employment, resignation, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. Texas Government Code 551.074 and 551.071. Item A, Superintendent's recommendation for position of Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Education and Leadership. Dr. Canales.
Board of Trustees, move that you approve my recommendation for the position of Assistant Superintendent Elementary Education and Leadership, Mr. Abel Aguilar.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Isidoro and a second by Oscar to approve the recommendation by administration to approve Abel Aguilar as Assistant Superintendent to Elementary Education and Leadership. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Abel, congratulations. We are excited and happy for you at the same time. Item B, consultation regarding pending litigation. Stephen Ray Brooks versus Priscilla Canales and Weslaco ISD C 3434-17-H in the 389th Judicial District in Hidalgo County, Texas. I believe that is a non-action item. Okay, that is a non-action item. Moving on to item number 5, item number 6 is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Time now is 7:16 and this meeting is closed.